Hey y'all, this is Patricia. Today I would like to introduce my science fiction, metaphysical, spiritual novel, NIGIRO Rising. Now, NIGIRO Rising is the sequel to Out of NIGIRO, and here's a brief description. 3 years, 3 years after 16-year-old Kenya went missing from the streets of St. Louis, her family has finally reached a point in their lives where they can move on, or so they thought. Every story has two sides, but the truth lives. The truth lies. The truth lives somewhere in the middle. Told primarily from the viewpoint of Kenya's mother, Carmen Zumira Williams, NIGIRO Rising picks up where Out of NIGIRO left off. This novel examines what happens to the Williams family as they discover that truth is indeed stranger than fiction when they ultimately learn who Kenya truly is. Now, like I said, this novel includes science fiction. It will take you to other worlds, outer space. You'll go to different planets. You'll meet extraterrestrials. It also includes spirituality, where Kenya, the character, and her mother, Carmen, they connect on a spiritual basis. And it also includes, what else did I say? Oh, metaphysical. Yes, there are some things that are metaphysical in here, which is out of the ordinary. So I encourage you to read it with an open mind. This is not your normal science fiction, metaphysical, spiritual book, but it's very, very fascinating. You will not be disappointed. Pick up your copy today on Amazon. It's less than $20. What have you got to lose? And thank you all for your support. And continue to follow me on www.patriciaorhopkins.com, at Facebook at author Patricia Hopkins, and on Instagram at Patricia or Hopkins. Thanks y'all for your support. It really, really helps. Peace. Greetings all. My name is Patricia Hopkins, and today I will be reading from NIGIRO Rising, Chapter 14, which begins on page 201. Please enjoy the following excerpt. How long are we supposed to wait? Malcolm asked. The last car left 20 minutes ago. I'm starting to feel exposed sitting out here. Stokely scanned the now empty parking lot. He too was tired of waiting, but he wasn't about to miss another opportunity to interact with his sister Kenya. Let's just wait a while longer. And if nothing happens, at least we tried. At some point, some concerned citizen is going to report a suspicious-looking vehicle parked in the museum parking lot. We're black, so I don't plan on getting arrested this evening. Well, if the cops show up, just remember to be cool like you were earlier, Stokely advised. I'll stay cool as long as you do, Malcolm replied. The last remnants of the sun disappeared in the western sky. It was now twilight, the moment that day officially turns into night. Left is right and right is wrong, Stokely quietly repeated to himself. Left is right, right is wrong. What did you say? I was just thinking. That saying is something old heads used to take seriously back in the day. I heard it in a movie, and it got me to thinking. Malcolm's eyes continued to scan the parking lot of the Cowboy Museum. Stokely looked out at the darkening sky. Speaking in hushed tones, he said, Yo, man, it was just a random thought. I started thinking about how this world has sometimes feel like it's rotating in the opposite direction. What are you talking about? And why do you suddenly sound like you're from the streets? Malcolm teased. Stokely sighed, lowering his head. When he looked up, he had excitement in his eyes. Dude, some days when I wake up, I be feeling like I'm living a different version of my own life. I don't feel the same way I used to. It's trippy. Why do you say that? Malcolm asked, puzzled by the noticeable St. Louis accent now coloring his brother's speech. Stokely exhaled long and slow, taking his time, searching for the right words before responding. It ain't nothing I can put my finger on. It's just a feeling I got, like I be getting lost inside a dream. When I come out of it, I'm a different version of myself. Stronger, confident, more powerful. Like I'm slowly evolving into a higher version of me. Like the old me is slowly dying and a new me is being born. You seem the same to me. No, man, I ain't the same. Stokely shook his head. I had to get hard because the streets of St. Louis ain't no joke. Sorry you had to deal with that on your own, Malcolm said, thinking. But it was you who chose to stay. When y'all first moved, I was so depressed. It seemed like none of my life was going right. Two of my homeboys was murdered over some stupid shit. Way too many of my partners and their family got sick or died from that virus. It started to feel like there was nothing except death, despair, and hopelessness in everybody I was around. These past couple of years done changed me. Like how? Malcolm asked with growing concern. Ever since moving to Unc's house, I think this weird shit started happening to wake me up. Are you high? Malcolm teased. Nah, bro. My eyes are open to see the world as it really is. Fucked up, Stokely chuckled before returning to being serious. Then I started having some real deep dreams most every night. That was cool. I like lucid dreaming, but when I started to hear voices inside my head, I wondered if I was losing my mind. What were the voices saying? Malcolm joked nervously. Maybe you've been smoking too much Chiba Chiba. Man, shut up. Cannabis ain't got nothing to do with it. Plus, I don't actually hear their voices audibly. Stokely wiped the extra tzatziki sauce from his fingers with an old napkin he found stuffed underneath the passenger seat. It all happens inside my mind. Like when I'm talking to certain people, it's like I'm having two different conversations at once. One's out loud at the physical level, external. I'm tracking, Malcolm replied. Stokely continued. The other conversation is at a higher level, the supernatural level. Instead of us speaking words out loud, my spirit connects with the other person's spirit. Sometimes, if they're really cool, I can actually feel their vibe. Really? Half the time, I don't know if the other person's even aware of what's happening. I know. Weird, right? Malcolm remained quiet, uncertain if his entire family was slowly going crazy. He didn't want to interrupt his brother. On some level, he was glad to know that his younger brother hadn't been left out of the family's nuttiness. By each one having undergone their individual unexplained events, it has somehow strengthened their family bond. Honestly, I think my spirit is communicating with yours right now, Stokely said back in his seat, pleased by this revelation. So let me get this straight. Even though we're speaking out loud right now, we're having an entirely different conversation, but on a spiritual level? Malcolm added, unable to stop himself. What are our spirits saying to each other now? You don't believe me, but that's all right. I know what I'm talking about. I hope you're not going around talking to yourself out loud. Man, that'll get you labeled a kook in a heartbeat. Dude, I got complete control of what comes out of my mouth. Besides, I learned the less I say, the easier it is to avoid saying the wrong thing. Malcolm leaned back in his seat, trying to not become overwhelmed. He struggled for some profound words to offer his younger brother, but none came. Times like this, he regretted having a job that prohibited his smoking marijuana, because he sure could use a hit right now. He rolled down all four windows. The warm evening air flooded into the car, bringing with it the scent of freshly cut grass. He uttered, I don't understand what's happening with our family. First, Kenya went missing. Me and Mom mysteriously lose an entire day. She and Dad think they saw Kenya coming down from a UFO. And now Mom's working on publishing a book that she believes Kenya gave to her. Now you're telling me that you've gone spiritual. What in the world is going on? I don't know. But whatever has happened, I feel at peace with it, Stokely explained. Suddenly, a movement outside the car caught his attention. He shushed his brother. What's wrong? Did you feel that? Feel what? Wait a minute, Stokely whispered. He steadied himself with both hands on the dashboard. Sporting a big grin, he exclaimed, Whoa, here it comes again. It feels like the vibration that comes out of those humongous concert speakers when a mad bass beat is playing, but without the sound. Yeah, I feel it, Malcolm replied. Maybe it's an earthquake. No, man, that didn't come from no earthquake. Stokely pointed toward the side of the museum. Barely able to contain his excitement, he shouted, "What the fuck is that?" Malcolm looked in the direction from where his brother pointed. "Over there!" Stokely shouted, gesturing excitedly. "Did you see that?" "What the? Wait a minute. There it is again!" Stokely shouted in a voice 2 octaves above normal. Malcolm's alarm increased when he spied successive, rapid bursts of bright lights that seemingly came from the clear night sky above the Cowboy Western Museum. He scanned the parking lot, confirming they remained alone before turning the key in the ignition. The engine link quietly turned over. "Wait a minute," Stokely shouted, gripping his hand over Malcolm's to prevent him from shifting into gear. "That might be Kenya. Maybe she's trying to get our attention. It might also be two fools shooting at each other. You and I both know that was not gunfire. Not if they were using silencers. Oh shit, that vibration is coming back again. Hold on. What the fuck is going on?" Malcolm yelled, clutching the steering wheel. "Do you feel that?" "Whoa, maybe we're being scanned," Stokely shouted, unable to contain his excitement. "I feel lighter already." "That was weird," Malcolm uttered, feeling as if his heads were swimming. "Man, stop being a... Drive over there." Stokely pointed towards the side of the museum from where the lights had originated. Still trying to process what he just experienced, Malcolm took his time before speaking. Staring at a picture of himself, Drina, and Molly that he kept on his dashboard, he responded almost apologetically. "Look, Stokely, I know you had to get used to living in a crime-infested city. I'm sorry you had to deal with all that shit after we moved, but I don't live that way anymore. We don't know who or what is over there, and I'm not trying to get us in the middle of something that we can't get out of. I'm telling you, that's not gunfire. I think Kenya is signaling to us." Stokely massaged his temples. "I can feel her vibe. It's very powerful. I think she wants us to drive over there." Malcolm stared at his brother, each of them determining what their next move should be. As if on a timer, the lights in the parking lot went off one by one. The bright security lights, meant to deter burglars from breaking into the museum, dimmed like someone had flipped a switch. Without benefit of the parking lot lighting, the area became enveloped in the kind of darkness one only finds deep in the country on a moonless night. He weighed his options. In his mind, there were only two: leave or stay. Before Malcolm changed his mind, he switched on the headlights and slowly drove through the vacant parking lot towards the side of the museum. He parked, dimmed the headlights, but left the engine running, just in case, and said, "You notice how quiet it is over here?" "Yeah, this must be what it's like inside a sound vacuum," Stokely surmised. "The vibes are stronger, and they're coming closer together." "You're right," Malcolm replied, glancing around nervously. His breathing remained labored as a result of the last adrenaline rush brought on by the light show. "What now?" "We wait." Stokely leaned forward to scan the sky above. He vowed that this time he was not going to miss his sister's appearance, no matter how long it took for her to show up. He was in for the long haul. "What's that?" Malcolm whispered, focusing on the rustling sounds coming from a cluster of overgrown bushes. "Chill out, man." Stokely glanced in that direction, explaining, "It's just a stray cat. You're going to make yourself have a heart attack if you keep jumping like that. Listen, I know you believe that Kenya is going to somehow magically appear, but I have a family now. I'm not trying to get myself killed because you think that our sister is going to make contact with us." "You're right. I don't have a wife and kids, but I got y'all." Stokely opened the car door and bravely stepped outside into the hot, humid air of the summer night. No longer was he afraid. What are you doing? Get back inside the car. I know you're not too sure about this whole scene. The last thing I want to do is get you into some shit you can't get out of. But I'm going to hang out here until she shows up, Stokely replied confidently. Stokely, man, get back in the car. Mom's going to kill me if she found out I left you here alone. Don't worry about me. I got this, Stokely shouted over his shoulder. He used the light from his cell phone to further check out his surroundings. Stop playing and get in the damn car, Malcolm shouted in frustration. A loud whooshing noise caused a sudden break in their conversation. A strong blast of air seemingly came out of nowhere, nearly knocking Stokely down. He easily regained his footing, and then he backed up slowly until he had returned to the front of the Jeep. With his heart beating wildly with excitement, he latched onto the hood and looked through the windshield to make sure Malcolm was watching. And then, ever so slowly, after taking a moment to prepare himself mentally to see whatever it was that had caused the unusual disturbance, he slowly looked up. In that very same moment, Malcolm also felt the first blast of hot air. He stuck his head out the driver's window, turning every which way, trying to gauge from where the air had come. He looked through the windshield to see his brother clutching the front of the Jeep. Then he saw Stokely's face. He watched as the expression on his brother's face changed from uncertainty to pure joy right before his eyes. Because Malcolm too wanted to see whatever it was that put that smile on Stokely's face, he too looked up. And that concludes the excerpt from NIGIRO Rising. That also concludes chapter 14. I really hope you all enjoyed that reading as much as I enjoy reading it for you. Please continue to follow me on my website at www.patriciarhopkins.com, Instagram at Patricia R. Hopkins, and Facebook at author Patricia Hopkins. Thank you all for supporting me, and please buy a book. You will not be disappointed by either Out of NIGIRO or NIGIRO Risings. Thank you all very, very much. Peace.